Hello, young historians. Welcome to the first lecture in our History of the World PhD program for kids. I'm Professor Eleanor Wright, and I'll be your guide as we embark on the most extraordinary adventure imaginable, the story of us, of humanity itself. History isn't just a collection of names and dates to memorize, it's the greatest story ever told, a saga spanning millions of years, featuring billions of characters, countless plot twists, and an ending that hasn't been written yet. And the most remarkable thing? You're part of this story. We all are. Imagine for a moment that all of human history, from the very first humans to this exact second, was compressed into a single 24-hour day. If we started at midnight with the emergence of our earliest human ancestors about 300,000 years ago, do you know when recorded history would begin? Not until around 11:36 p.m. The pyramids of Egypt wouldn't be built until 11:44 p.m. The Roman Empire would rise and fall in just a few minutes between 1145 and 1150. The entire modern era, everything since the year 1500, would occupy just the final 2 minutes of our day. And your own lifetime? A mere fraction of a second. This perspective helps us understand something crucial about history. For the vast majority of human existence, people lived very differently than we do today. No electricity, no books, no schools, no phones, no supermarkets. Yet these people were just as intelligent, curious, and creative as we are. They simply lived in different circumstances. As we journey through time together, we'll ask ourselves 3 fundamental questions about each civilization and era we explore. First, how did people survive? This includes everything from how they found food and built shelter to how they organized their societies and governed themselves. Second, what did people create? Humans are makers. We build tools, craft art, compose music, write stories, and develop technologies. These creations tell us so much about what people valued and how they understood their world. Third, and perhaps most importantly, what did people believe? Every human society develops explanations for life's big questions. Where did we come from? Why are we here? What happens after we die? How should we treat one another? These beliefs shape everything about how societies function. Now, before we dive into the past, we need to understand how historians actually do their work. Contrary to what you might think, historians are a bit like detectives. We don't have time machines, unfortunately, so we need to piece together what happened by examining evidence, or what we call primary sources. Primary sources are objects or records created during the time period we're studying. They might be written documents like letters or diaries, physical objects like pottery or weapons, artwork like paintings or sculptures, or even buildings and monuments. Each of these sources gives us clues about the past but rarely tells the complete story. Historians must carefully analyze these fragments, compare different sources, and use their knowledge of human behavior to reconstruct what likely happened. But here's something crucial to remember. History is always changing. Not the past itself, what happened, but our understanding of it. As we discover new evidence and develop new perspectives, our interpretations evolve. The history books your grandparents read in school tell a different story than the ones you might read today, and future generations will have yet another understanding. This doesn't mean one version is wrong and another right. Rather, it reflects how our collective knowledge grows and changes over time. Throughout this program, we'll also confront an uncomfortable truth. History is often written by the winners, by those with power. For centuries, the stories of ordinary people, of women, of enslaved individuals, of conquered populations were rarely recorded or preserved. Part of our job as modern historians is to search for these missing voices and recognize the biases in our sources. We need to ask not just what story is being told, but who is telling it, who is missing from it, and why. Now, let's talk about how we divide history into manageable chapters. Historians often speak of periodization, creating meaningful segments of time based on significant developments or changes. For our journey, we'll use a framework that helps us understand the major transitions in human experience. We'll begin with prehistory, the vast stretch of time before humans developed writing around 3200 BCE. During this period, our ancestors invented agriculture, domesticated animals, created the first permanent settlements, and developed the foundations of human culture. Next comes the ancient world, from the first civilizations in Mesopotamia and Egypt around 3000 BCE through the fall of the Western Roman Empire in 476 CE. This era saw the rise of cities, the creation of writing systems, the emergence of complex religions, and the formation of the first empires. The Middle Ages or medieval period follows, spanning roughly 1,000 years, from 500 to 1500 CE. During this time, new civilizations emerged from the ruins of old ones. World religions spread and evolved, and trade networks connected distant cultures. The early modern period, from approximately 1500 to 1800 CE, witnessed revolutionary changes in how humans understood the world. Scientific discoveries, global exploration, religious reformations, and philosophical revolutions transformed human thought. Finally, the modern era, from about 1800 CE to the present day, has been characterized by industrialization, rapid technological development, unprecedented population growth, global conflicts, and the emergence of our interconnected world. These divisions help us organize our thinking, but remember that they're human constructs. People living through these transitions didn't wake up one morning and say, "Today the Middle Ages end and the Renaissance begins." Change happens gradually, unevenly, and differently in various parts of the world. Speaking of the world, one of the most exciting aspects of our program is that we'll explore history globally. For too long, history has been taught from a limited perspective, focusing primarily on Europe and North America. But humanity's story unfolded simultaneously across Africa, Asia, the Americas, Australia, and everywhere humans made their homes. We'll discover how civilizations influenced one another through trade, conquest, migration, and the exchange of ideas. We'll learn how inventions and discoveries in one corner of the world transformed life in another. And we'll see how common challenges, climate change, disease, resource competition, shaped human societies everywhere. As we embark on this journey together, I want you to remember that history isn't just about the past. It's about understanding how we got to where we are today. Every institution, technology, tradition, and belief we take for granted has its roots in history. The languages we speak, the foods we eat, the boundaries of our nations, even the way we measure time, all are products of our shared human story. History also gives us perspective on our present challenges. Climate change, pandemics, political conflicts, technological revolutions, humans have faced variations of these challenges before. By understanding how past societies navigated their own watershed moments, we gain wisdom for addressing our own. Perhaps most importantly, history reminds us of a fundamental truth. Things change. Societies that seemed permanent have collapsed. Ideas once considered radical have become mainstream. Technologies have transformed daily life in ways previously unimaginable. This knowledge can be both humbling and empowering. It reminds us that our current world isn't inevitable or fixed, but the result of countless human choices, and that our choices today will shape the world of tomorrow. In our next lecture, we'll begin our journey in earnest, traveling back to meet our earliest human ancestors and exploring how they not only survived but thrived in a world very different from our own. We'll discover how the development of language, art, tools, and fire set humans on a unique evolutionary path, and how the end of the last ice age created conditions for one of the most significant revolutions in human history, the invention of agriculture. But before we close today, I want to plant a seed of thought. As we study history together, I encourage you to see yourselves as more than just students of the past. You are also its inheritors and its future makers. The story of humanity continues with you, shaped by your understanding, your choices, and your actions. Thank you for joining me on this first step of our historical journey. Until our next lecture, I invite you to look at the world around you with new eyes, recognizing that everything has a history, a story of how it came to be. Because that's what historians do. We see the present as a moment in an ongoing story, connecting what was to what is and what might yet be.